All right, here's my audience members. There's Reed, Jonah, kind of dark, but there's Danny, Cheryl there, Chris, and Shelbs. Alrighty. And we're going to get started here. Alright, so you are one Saturday night with 5 of your friends, and you decide, let's go play a sport. You say, let's go play a sport. And all of you decide you're going to play 3-on-3 basketball. You got 6 people, 3-on-3 basketball. You get your athletic shorts on, you get your athletic shoes on, and you go running to the door, and oh gosh, it's raining outside. And oh my gosh, the gym is closed. So you cannot play basketball. That's unfortunate. Well, you guys decide, hey, why don't we just play poker in the garage instead? So you whip out to the store, which you actually can get to. You grab a 6-pack, you grab some cigars, and you set up the table, and you throw $20 in, and you start playing poker until 3 in the morning. Have a great time. Did you do what you were going to say you were going to do and play a sport? See, I don't really think so. And for me, I like playing poker, but I don't like that it's ever classified in the same way that playing basketball, playing baseball, playing hockey, and some of these other sports might be. So, and I think it devalues the efforts of athletes playing these real sports to call poker a real sport. And I played real sports, and I know that some of my audience members here might have, and some of the audience members watching online might have as well. So I think it really devalues those sports. And for that reason, I do not think that poker should be considered a legitimate sport. So some of the arguments I'm going to present today is that poker doesn't involve any physical capabilities or physical requirements like real sports do. It only requires mental capabilities, which and brain power exertion, which doesn't quite qualify as a sport. Doesn't qualify poker as a sport, and that the possible outcomes being so limited in poker with a 52 card deck that it makes it less of a sport in my mind than other sports. And I'll explain how that works. So to start off with, there's no physical requirements of playing poker. You just have to get up there and sit down, and I mean, you can drink beer, you can smoke a cigarette, you can do whatever you want to do while playing poker. The most physical requirement is pushing chips into the middle of the table. And this sentiment that it's not a sport because there's no physical requirement is echoed in Deadspin.com's online poll, in which only slightly more than 10% of people consider poker to be a sport. And this was polled against a lot of other fringe sports, such as darts, chess, competitive video games, cheerleading. And it pulled the lowest out of all of those. And let's take one of those, for example, competitive video game playing. Even in that, where it seems like, no, that's not a sport, right? You still have to look at the screen and have the hand-eye coordination to coordinate your thumbs with the screen, and that's some physical movement. That's some physical talent that you have that you're expressing through your activity. So that obviously shows that there's nothing physical about poker, and that's why I don't believe that it's a sport. Actually, it was recently in 2010, according to Poker News Daily, poker was accepted as a mind sport by the International Mind Sports Association, right, in April 2010. So clearly they're already acknowledging that the sport is only called a sport because of the mind, and I don't really agree with that terminology, but that's just what this group has come up with. But that leads me to my second point, moving on from no physical capabilities, that the only thing that there is that mind, that mental, that brain power exertion that you do have to play poker. Everybody knows that. I mean, you have to have some high level of brain power to play competitive poker. But that is not enough to qualify it as a real sport, because the real sports have a combination of both the physical and the mental. And you can really see that when you compare some of the main competitors in competitive poker to, let's say, football. So let's talk about an example. 2003, the World Series of Poker, Chris Moneymaker, his last name is Moneymaker, He had the greatest bluff ever, according to the PokerListings.com, in which he bluffed his way to win the hand. He had nothing. The other guy had a pair of jacks, and he bluffed him out of it for millions of dollars. It was pretty cool. But compare that. Have you ever heard of that to? Have you ever heard of Tom Brady winning his 5th Super Bowl this past year? And are we really saying that Chris Moneymaker and Tom Brady are equal in athletic sports or in sports? See, that's where I don't really see it happening. Now compare it to Gretzky, compare him to Jordan, Jackie Robinson. I mean, these people made significant impacts on their sport, and they'll be remembered forever. And it's not just take out the popularity, but it's because they did something besides win a luck game, win a game of the minds. So that's really why I don't consider it a sport from that angle. That some people argue that the mental exertion is a physical requirement, but I just don't see that whenever you compare it to real sports. That not only, I mean, Tom Brady's got to use his head out there, right? He's got to use the mental and physical. Clayton Kershaw figuring out what pitch he's going to strike out the next guy has got to use the physical and the mental, and it goes on and on. But the fact is that the mental is not enough. There has to be the physical. So now that we've gone through how the physical-mental relationship affects whether or not it's a sport, the last point I want to make is that there's a certain number of outcomes possible in a game of poker, because there are 52 cards and only so many different sets of cards and winning hands and so on. And actually, at the Simon Fraser University in Canada, a mathematics professor named Brian Alspash, mathematics and statistics professor, he has a list on their website of all the probabilities of all the hands that you can get in various poker games, mathematically calculated, so that you know exactly how much you're going to win by, or what chance you have to win that hand. Now compare that again to another real sport like football. Take, for example, the last 3 championships we've witnessed in the NBA, the MLB, and the NFL, where we've seen these amazing comebacks: 3-1 against the Cavs against the Warriors, 3-1 Cubs, awesome, against the Indians, and then the NFL, Tom Brady coming back from a 25-point deficit. What do you think the probabilities were that they were going to win that game? They were very low. Somebody had to break this probability, really low as in 0.1%. Somebody had to do some amazing physical attributes out there on the field, out there on the court, to make it happen. In poker, not so much, right? They just kind of sit there and, hey, it turned right, or it didn't turn right, and I lost, or I won. And even if you could quantify the probabilities of Tom Brady making that throw or somebody making that catch, anything from the environment could have gone wrong in that scenario, whether it be the temperature or the pressure in the air that would have made him jump less high. It's just all of those different forces that they have to deal with, and the only thing that the poker player has to deal with is the flipping of the card and the probability of him winning. So, kind of coming to a conclusion here, we've seen that the physical requirements are lacking in poker, that it's only a mental game. It does require mental brain power exertion, but that there's also a limited amount of outcomes, and that really brings into play that it's just a luck of the cards game. So, in conclusion of that, I really don't see how many people can back it up as a sport on the level of baseball, basketball, football, or hockey. And moving on from that, do you think that Tom Brady won any Super Bowls by grabbing a six-pack and some cigars and sitting in his garage? No. So why are we comparing those two? So let's make sure poker is not really called a sport anymore. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate you listening. And here's my audience. I believe that's enough. 1, 2, 3. Cheryl's back there. 4, 5. All right, 6. Thank you.